Thanks so much for your cooperation with this impromptu interview. Now, what's your name and your title here?
I'm Evelyn Boehm, and I'm Senior Vice President of Food and Strategic Initiatives at Mid-Ohio Food Bank.
How long have you worked for the food bank?
Don't ask that. It's 26 years this month.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of growth. I've seen tremendous growth in need over this period of time when, a long quarter of a century ago now, we used to think we could solve that problem of hunger relatively easily, and we know it's a very difficult thing, but Mid-Ohio Food Bank is committed to that. And I've seen a growth in partners that want to help us do that.
Were you one of the founding persons?
I came in the very early years, not a founder, but I came very early on. The food bank was established in 1980, and today we serve 20 counties in central and eastern Ohio. We partner with over 500 agencies, that's food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters, and provide most of the food that they use in their programming.
Were you able to meet most of the needs 26 years ago, or has it always been an ongoing struggle that...
Well, the need wasn't nearly as great, 26 years ago. At least hunger was probably more hidden, and our focus was really focusing on emergency needs, something that would happen for a family and they would be just out of food for a short time and they would need a little help over the hump, and maybe their Social Security's check was lost and so they came up short and needed some money for a needed food for a senior citizen, or temporary unemployment. But today, with unemployment here in Ohio hovering at 10%, and having lasted in this deep recession for so long, it's a very different picture. People who have helped us in the past really now need help themselves and are accessing food pantries for the service that they used to.
And a lot of the people are like ongoing, chronically in need of food.
Well, for a long period now. If you're a senior citizen on a pension, and that pension is set, and prices have gone up, finally you have to stretch that dollar until it doesn't stretch anymore, and you have to make decisions, and many senior citizens make decisions about, am I going to buy my medicine this month, or am I going to have enough food this month? And that's a terrible choice to have to make, and it hurts our seniors long term, for if they don't have proper nutrition, they can't expect to have good health. And at the same time, for families, whose major breadwinner is out of work and has been for a long time, even if they're on unemployment, that is often not enough to ensure that they can pay the rent, pay for health care, pay for medical care for their children, and school supplies, heat, utilities, and what they stretch to is a place where they don't have the money for food. So here in Central Ohio, we've said how important it is that you pay your rent first, that you ensure that your utilities aren't turned off, and that there are places you can go to get some assistance, to get food, to see to it that your children are fed, because we live in a really generous community that helps us ensure that people don't go hungry.
So you seem to be getting plenty of donations to keep up with the need.
Well, it's hard because the need has grown faster than our donations have. It's a constant challenge now to ensure that we have the food and the right kind of food so that people can have nutritious meals.
I see you're in this new place. What's the dimensions of this new facility?
We have about 200,000 square feet here, 178,000 square feet of storage space. We can store 65 semis of freezer and frozen and refrigerated product. So it's basically it's 3 times the size of our facility that was on West Mound Street here in Columbus. It enables us to store everything in one location, be far more efficient. It enables us to invite more volunteers in because we have greater space for those volunteers, and it enables us to give them the parking space they need, the space to work they need, and all in all, it enables us to move more food through the system, food that we've never been able to access.
Was that the place you started at 26 years ago?
Actually, We were on a place on 25th Avenue on the northeast side of Columbus in a much smaller warehouse, and in the mid-'80s we moved to the Mound Street facility, and it served us well for many years. It's just gotten to the place that with new programming and new food sources and food sources that needed to be held under refrigeration, we had to make a move.
Compared to the place on 25th, how much bigger is the Mound Street? Do you recall? Is it, because this is like a three-time increase?
I suppose that was twice as big, or maybe more than that, when we moved from 25th to Mound Street. It was a big jump for us too, and a jump that we thought, oh, we'll never need all this space. And over the years, as we brought more volunteers in, as we found new sources of food in fresh produce that needed refrigeration, as we began to pack more food, we had to say, okay, finally, this doesn't fill the bill anymore, and it's keeping us from fulfilling our mission. When there is food out there, and we have the people that will help to see us get it out, we've got to have a place that will enable us to do that.
How long does a transition from like Mound Street to here take? How long ago did you start planning?
Our board looked at it very carefully over well over a year, trying to do a study of what their projected need was, what the inefficiencies were. We had a donated space off-site where we stored some of our food, and we had to measure, okay, would it be better to stay there or buy a place and move back and forth for extra storage, or would it be better to have everything in one place? And so that study took over a year, and then the search for whether we build a new site or whether we renovate that site or what we do. And we found this facility here in Grove City that had the major outline of what we wanted. The footprint of this building was large, but it kept the docks at one end where we could bring trucks of food in, and then at the other end of this building we send the food out to our agencies. And so the agency vehicles and the semi-loads that are unloaded there, they never have to cross the same path. They have different entrances, and for safety purposes, that's something that we right away said, oh, this is a superb layout. And so it gave us the space we needed, and we could see with some renovations it would be the perfect spot.
When did the construction begin here?
About almost 2 years ago. We moved in on October 12th here, and there's still some finishing touches, things that we're looking to finish out a food pantry that we will have here. We have space for a pantry. So for the first time ever, we'll be providing some direct services to people in need. And one of the things that's going to enable us to do is, since we have so many volunteers here in the evenings, we're open, and so it's quite natural that we have a food pantry open. And that's one of the things that are lacking in Franklin County is a pantry system that is open in the evening. Most of our pantries are daytime pantries, or from 4 to 6. But for people who work and still need help, or can't get away, or need a ride to get to a pantry, to have a pantry open in the evenings, it will be a big help. And so that's one of the ways we think we can increase service here.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add that you want the public to know about, or?
Well, I think we don't have to talk about, is there hunger here any longer? I think most people understand that now, since we've gone through such a deep recession here in the United States. And so people all across the country, I think, are aware of hunger. And we just need to be sure that people understand that it's going to take neighbor helping neighbor, lots of people, to solve this problem. And we invite volunteers who want to help us with their time, people with resources, to ensure that we can meet the needs.
All right, well, thank you so much.